do you ever struggle to get your mind to switch off at the end of the day? You finish work, you get home, you jump on the couch and switch on the TV, but you just can't seem to concentrate because problematic thoughts of the day keep on popping into your mind. Or maybe you struggle to stop playing through bad experiences. Perhaps you've had an argument or you've failed at something important to you, and you keep replaying the memories of the event over and over again incessantly until it starts to drive you nuts. Well, this is something called ruminating, where we have constant repetitive thoughts about something and this negatively affects our mental well-being. So in this video I want to explain one of the main reasons why we ruminate, and later on in the video I want to share with you one of the best tips I know to stop this from happening. So why do we ruminate? Because it doesn't make sense, does it? I mean, it's like going to the cinema, watching a bad movie, hating every minute of it, and then deciding to go back and watch it repeatedly. It doesn't make sense, but we do it anyway. So in order to explain the main reason why we ruminate, we need to talk about waitresses.
Hey, when you get a second, stop looking at my boobs.
So back in the 1920s, psychologists Bluma Zygarnik and Kurt Lewin found that waiters and waitresses had a better recollection of unpaid orders, that they could actually remember numerous orders where the bills were still to be paid. But then after the customers had paid for the food and settled their bill, all of a sudden they couldn't remember what any of the orders were. And from this study they deduced that when a task is incomplete, it creates a state of arousal because our brain wants to complete that task. And this state of arousal makes the details of the task more memorable. So another way to look at it is to think about it as the difference between open and closed loops. The brain loves closure, probably more than anything else. It gives it the signal that an experience, task or goal is completed and it's time to move on to the next thing. So whenever we open up a loop, so this could be starting an activity, a goal, a task, it could even be, entertaining some sort of thought or idea inside our minds, then the brain desperately tries to close it to get that closure so it can then package it off and move on to the next thing. And if it doesn't get that closure, if there's not an end, then one of two things will happen. Number one, it will keep on reminding you that something is unresolved, usually through repetitive thoughts and unsettling feelings. Or number two, it will get creative and find a way to close that loop and create that closure it craves. Oh, I've just remembered something. I think this is probably the most crucial thing to know about when it comes to stopping these negative thoughts, and that is... So that's the Zygarnik effect, where we open up a loop and our brain desperately attempts to try to close it. So do you see how annoying that is? I talked about that one thing, but I deliberately bleeped it out, and you're probably thinking, tell me, I want to know what that one thing is. That's the Zygarnik effect in action. So back to ruminating thoughts and struggling to switch off at the end of the day. The main reason why this happens is because we have open loops all over the place, or we have one big open loop that has a lot of negative emotion attached to it. So it creates this state of arousal. We start to remember the events of the day more vividly because of this, and our brain continually reminds us through repetitive thoughts and unsettling feelings that something has been left incomplete or unresolved. So some examples of this could be unfinished tasks at work, projects that are ongoing, arguments that we've had with work colleagues or loved ones, times where we've said something and maybe made a fool out of ourselves, setbacks, challenges, situations that didn't go our way. These are all ripe for rumination. Ripe for rumination? I don't think that's the right term, but I'm sure you get the picture. These are all things that can easily become breeding grounds for rumination. Breeding grounds, that was the term I was looking for. I can stop ruminating about it now. So what is the solution? Well, the real key to stopping these annoying repetitive thoughts is deceptively simple. You need to create closure. So how do you actually do that? Well, there are lots of ways, but one really powerful method is to have a closing ritual at the end of your day. So this is more work specific, but you want to have something in place that gives your brain a sense of closure. It gives it the message that work is finished, now it's time to let go and enjoy your downtime. So a simple way to do this is at the end of your day, you want to write down a list of all of your tasks, and you want to divide them into two different columns. First of all, tasks that are ongoing, so ones that have not yet yet reached the point of completion. The second column is you want to write down all of the tasks that you have actually completed, ones that can be filed away so that you can then move on. And then you want to look at your first column, the ones that are ongoing, and you want to acknowledge the progress that you've made in these tasks. You want to appreciate the milestones that you've reached. And this is really important because it gives the brain a sense of mini closure. Now, you're not going to close the loop completely because these tasks are still ongoing, but it gives it that sense of mini closure. So it allows you to release them temporarily so you can go and enjoy your weekend or your evening or whatever. Then the second thing you want to do is you want to take a look at the other column, the column of the completed tasks, and you want to acknowledge these tasks that you've completed and actually feel what that feels like. And this is so utterly crucial because it gives you that feeling of closure that you can carry over into your evening or your weekend. So you're maybe also wondering, what do you do if it's some kind of emotional event in your past that you're playing through over and over again? So it could be like an argument or some sort of, past event that didn't go quite well, or maybe a setback or something like that. Well, again, the solution is the same. You want to create that sense of kind of psychological closure. So the way to do this is to just become aware of the thought loop that's recursively playing through your mind and give it an ending. Bring it to some kind of conclusion in your imagination. Because I guarantee that this thought loop that's playing through your mind and driving you nuts, it will not have an ending. And the fact it's not got an ending is actually the reason why your brain won't let it go. So the way to do this, just to give you a kind of step-by-step process, is you want to first of all just become aware of the thoughts. So don't try to avoid it, don't run away from it, just play it through inside your mind. And then you kind of want to step out and look on from a neutral observer's position. And you want to ask yourself, what is there to learn from this experience, this event, that I can then use in the future to become a better person? And when something comes to mind, you then want to imagine using this learning at some point in the future to make your life better. And this will give you the conclusion. This can act as your ending to create that sense of closure and, most importantly, to close that loop. So that's one of the main reasons why we struggle to switch off at the end of the day, or we have these ruminating thoughts that just keep on repeating inside our mind. And the way to stop it is to create that closure, whether it be behaviourally through your actions or psychologically through your imagination. So if you want some more strategies on how to deal with these repetitive negative thoughts, then you'll want to watch this video here where I outline a few more strategies. So thanks for watching. If you found this content useful, then I would hugely appreciate it if you stroked the like button. Stroked the like button? You get the picture, but that would be absolutely fantastic, and I'll see you later on.